I'll go with mine first. I said that Russell Wilson would be benched this season. I guess it might not
see the
be.
comment that I put at the
Yeah, it might not be too bold. Why not? Everybody literally is talking about the Broncos and how everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid like they were last year. Or they're drinking the horchata or whatever the hell you want to call it. But they're drinking it thinking, oh my God, like Sean Payton is this messiah. He's going to come in and help them. Remember,
that's fair.
Russell Wilson's not Drew Brees. Drew Brees was young. He was only like 26, 27 when he came over from the Chargers. He helped a lot of what he was doing, and then they kind of grew up together. Here, Russell Wilson doesn't know Sean Payton. Sean Payton doesn't know Russell Wilson. You've seen kind of the stuff that's been going on. Tim Patrick is now out. Jerry Jeudy's out for a while. That's going to hurt for a couple of weeks. And then can they get it all down? Can they have a running game? Their offensive line, to me, they spent all that money. That offensive line doesn't look good to me. McGlinchey, I wasn't a fan of his even when he was with.
He's already been hurt too.
Nope.
Yeah, and he's hurt too. So and then Garrett Bowles always gets hurt for them at left tackle. So I'm just not a fan of the Broncos. I think their defense is good, but I think their defense has holes. Randy Gregory, I'm not a fan of. Frank Clark was good on the Chiefs. Can he be good here? Like, it's just a lot of question marks.
He only shows up for the playoffs. Remember, Frank Clark only shows up for the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Playoff
so
Frankie,
I think Russell Wilson at one point gets benched, and questions start arising about Sean Payton as the head coach.
I was gonna save this question, but I never got to it. So does that mean that Russell Wilson will get the Derek Carr treatment that the Raiders gave him, where they bench him so they don't have to pay him? Because he's due a bonus. Yeah. I think by like either the day after the Super Bowl or sometime, I forget. So they would need to make sure that he doesn't get injured. Kind of like what you just said about
Kyler Murray. And then I think he has to play more than 75% of the. He has to play like a certain percentage of the snaps. So I could see them benching him for that reason also. But then especially if halfway through the year they're already out of it, they're going to be like, you know what?
Here's the part though for Russell Wilson is like the contract is so massive that they can't even get out of it next year. Like the only way you could do is by trading him. And how can you trade a guy who's on the bench with no value? So
that's what my question is. Like, what happens if they get the first pick overall in the draft? Would they really go Marvin Harrison Jr. and say, hey, with this guy we could fix Russell Wilson? Or are they going to go, hey, Caleb Williams is that guy, let's bring him in?
No, you give somebody a third round pick to take on that contract and get out of here or something like that. Or
I think the biggest thing is twofold right there. Number one, it's not Sean Payton's quarterback. I think he's going to look to unload him 100% as soon as he can.
Bro,
I think the other thing
that's
that
a quarterback
I would say,
that he wanted, he would have kept his office in there. He would have done stuff like he came in and he said, no office. Your entourage cannot come in here whenever they want.
Yeah,
you need to keep these guys out of here.
So I think that's a huge thing. It's not his quarterback. And the other thing that I think is a question that should arise if the Broncos don't make the playoffs or they're not very good, George Patton's still the GM, right?
Yeah.
George Patton should be on the hot seat after that. Not only was, the trade terrible, because I think the Seahawks clearly won it. Then you give this guy a quarterback in his 30s who hasn't looked really good, a ridiculous contract. There's no way questions don't arise about George Patton. I know supposedly everybody in the league is all hot and bothered because they like him and this and that. But I mean, he's tanking the Broncos almost single-handedly right now.